Hey, welcome to the Runaways podcast. My name is Cody. We are back for another week. All of us just basically got back from KC. Some of us a little later than we intended to get back from KC. I don't know what was going on with that, but just a whole bunch of flights got canceled at the same time, like all of the early morning ones. So everyone on Sunday night was pretty much scrambling for new flights, which was pretty interesting.
Wait, you found out Sunday night?
Yeah,
Oh,
did
I
you not
set my
find out
alarm
Sunday
for
night?
3 a.m. I wake up at 3 a.m., like barely able to open my eyes, looking at my phone, like, oh yeah, I don't think I checked into my flight. Look at flight, canceled. I'm like, oh no. I woke up at 3 a.m. for nothing. My flight got canceled and moved to 5 p.m. So I spent the day in KC.
No, it was like 11 p.m. in my entire room. Like everyone who was in the room, all the flights canceled at the same time because we're all on the same flight. We're just like scrambling to try and find something else that we could book. One of the guys who was like supposed to fly back and work that day had to like book a flight and then go find a quiet room to like do a pitch meeting like at the airport
Nice.
because he had it already scheduled. So it was pretty crazy. But besides that, we had some pretty good results at KC, I think, as a Runaways team. It was a lot of fun. We're going to talk about some interesting things stat-wise that we have found.
We got to put like crying emoji under, or just like a cloud of rain above his head.
Yeah. I think there might be some podcast questions about how do you recover from bad things happening.
Yeah, I got you.
Maybe Lucas can cover that one. But
yeah,
let's start with Dan. You didn't make day 2 of the calling,
crazy,
but you redeemed yourself immediately afterwards. You are the duality of Mario. Tell us how your KC weekend went. Just kind of the highlights.
Yeah, that was a sweet weekend. So probably take a while to go through, but all 3 days of the weekend were drastically different. For the first time, I think ever, I got to do like side events out of calling. Since I skipped Singapore, I had an extra vacation day I could throw out this one, so wanted to get some in-person practice in. Brought my like Mario deck, still testing out a few things. Played a bunch of side events. Later in the day, I realized they have a Marvel sheet. You can kind of see it behind me if you're on YouTube. I have to get that hung up. But they had one hunted Marvel sheet left, and the majority of it is Arachne and his different forms. So I immediately FOMO'd and bought the remaining tickets I needed and brought that home. So Friday was sick to start the trip. I got that to represent my favorite hero for now. My deck did pretty bad in the side events. It was like not functioning as intended. But I stayed up really late. Not really late. What happened? Oh, I got in late the night before, so I was like really low on sleep. I set like an 8 a.m. alarm so I could play these side events. Was definitely a misplay. Should have slept in and like done 2 instead of 3. But at the end of the day, I was like too tired to bother to make adjustments to my deck, so I just shipped it, even though it was okay at best during that day. What I did improve on though was my sideboard decisions, so that was big. So I played the calling. I start 3-0 as expected. I'm playing the best deck in the room.
What happened
so
next?
That's all good.
What happened next?
Yeah. I'm glad I did well on Sunday. So next I got like some I hit some like really unfortunate matchups. And like some of the few that are actually like difficult. The 4th round I pair into a Syndra. They go second. They open like 4 card 18. I'm immediately like way behind. I get like one blocking decision wrong. It's pretty minor, but it gives me an out to maybe win the game. So that one's whatever. It's kind of expected. They go second, they draw well. You tend to lose those if you can't find enough disruption. It's a pretty close game still. The next round is when like the bad luck really hits. There were 5 Florians in this tournament, and I pair one in round 5, and that's okay. Like I don't feel that bad about the matchup. It's really not terrible. They just have like every tool in the game that is good against your deck, and my deck doesn't function. I'm blocking 2 cards every turn, which is not what you want to be doing. Like Florian doesn't even present disruption like that. It was just the best use of the card. So I also made a huge mistake. Prior to this event, I had AB0 in my list for like the past month, roughly, I'd say. with the intent to just disrespect Kano. So in this game, I forgot that I had the option of presenting AB1 because I had been playing without it for so long and I was a little sleep deprived, as I mentioned. So we get to the end game and it's like I could have stopped like 22 rune chants or something and just waited until I found my tarantula toxins, but instead I just took 2 every turn and slowly died because my cards didn't come together in a good order. So that was like kind of misplay, kind of unlucky. Next round is Verdance. This one just doesn't go my way. I failed to like convert my hands twice when they just send like a big spell. I get to like the classic end game where we're both at like 12. And kind of just jockeying for that like lethal strike. They find a burn bear with the burn bear set, so I'm just kind of dead. I have 1 sigil left in deck, but I don't draw it in time. It's like 2 cards from the top at the end. So I lose that one and then I'm out of it, obviously. I win the last round, but who cares?
Wait,
So yeah, Saturday was rough.
what was
What's
the
up?
other boss? It was Florian Verdance, and what was the other?
Syndra.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that was fine. It's kind of bad breaks. I could have done some things better. Definitely unlucky matchups. Those are like some of the worst ones I can think of. I'd still prefer those over Gravy all day. So that's fine. I kind of had a bad showing, so Saturday night I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna hang out. What's up?
It's just funny.
Best
Those
deck
are
in the
bad
game.
matchups, and you
Best
prefer
deck
them
in the
over
game.
Gravy?
These are the worst matchups. Still better than the actual best deck in the game. What are we talking about here? Something
Well-
in this logical train of thought has been led astray.
Well, Gravy I just dislike playing against.
Oh, I see.
It's not fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You got to make up for months and months of not talking. Get it all out now.
Indeed. But yeah, so I scrub out on Saturday. I'm pretty depressed because like unfortunate matchups, whatever. So I decided to stay up super late playing Blood on the Clock Tower for the first time. That was a great time. It was cool to like hang out with a bunch of different people of the Flesh and Blood community that I didn't know before. Learned this cool game. But yeah, we played until like 1 a.m. or something. So that wasn't the best idea. Sunday, I queued the Battle Hardened. I signed up just in time. I know it sold out for a lot of people. I have like no expectations going into this. I just want to play more Mario games because I like the deck. I had a fun game the first round against the newer player. They said they were 3 weeks in, which is funny. It kind of like baited me into not a misplay, but I was like, maybe they just. It was clearly had an attack reaction in Arsenal. That was like the read because like I P2'd the last turn when I overblocked. But then I was like, well, they're new. Maybe they just didn't know how to use their cards correctly. And then they kind of got me with it. So that game got closer than I would have liked. So I thought I was going to start the day 0-1 and just like end the day there. But I won that one. Have a bunch of great games. A ton of like fun, interesting games the whole weekend. I go 5-0. And then I finally play against the Gravy Bones. My strategy for the matchup is to just like max greed it and like disrespect everything they're doing. Just ignore the board. Use all my resources as soon as they're like profitable. My opponent like counter greeds me, like just ripping 2 golds, hoping to draw a blue so they can chum, and they hit it. So I get like counter greeted and I lose that game. It was pretty close. It was basically they had the conk on the right turn. Otherwise, I get to do my like Bonds disruption train. So then I have a win in the last round. Maybe I lost round 4. I don't know. I win the last 2 though. The last round ends up being a really sick game against Fang where I put off fealty till super late. They finally get there. I take a turn. Basically, I go to 1 to like reset their counters. And then we grind both at 1 for like 10 turns or something ridiculous. They just keep being able to barely stay in it and keep a threat up. But I get there in the end. Make top 8. Luckily, my top 8 game was against Dash.io. Literally the night before I left for the event, I but I played some practice games with Connor, top 8 calling competitor from this weekend. Just to prove out like the fatigue strategy. Anytime I have like 4 or more DB reacts in my deck and sigils, I want to prove out if it's feasible to fatigue Dash.io. we proved pretty quickly that it's definitely the route to go. So I just blocked a bunch. I tried to throw the game by setting a shred, but it worked out all right. I just like autopilot. I was like, yeah, shred. I'll use this on a leave no witnesses eventually. It's like the worst thing you could do when deploying this game plan. So got lucky there. By this point in the day, it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 p.m. My body's in shambles. My mind's not working. Just doing my best to play my cards in the right order. Top 4, I play against a Slippy. I get absolutely rolled. It was like the worst loss I've ever taken in a game of Flesh and Blood. They resolved like Bond's double nick. Every other turn is like Kiss of Death plus Disruption, like the Kiss. It was terrible. But after reflecting, pretty annoyed about it. On turn 0, I just think I played entirely wrong. They make me go first, which puts me at a disadvantage, but I have a Kiss of Death, which means if I play turn 0 properly, I should get to resolve a Black Widow Kiss of Death the next turn. But I don't, and I get CNC'd, so I start with just like a mediocre 2-card 7 line and just get disrupted out the game from there. So that's how my weekend ended. Made a top 8. That was cool. Mario's still the best deck.
I mean, makes sense. No, I was happy to see top 8 since you've been playing Mario. But that's kind of how Mario seems to be. It's like,
yeah,
you're going to win the tournament or you're not going to make day 2.
You catch so many strays in this meta. Instead of like max respecting gravy, everyone threw in like 6 extra D reacts and a couple more prevention cards for Slippy. So I honestly don't really advise playing Mario in the current meta. It felt like I was playing on like super hard mode the whole weekend. Where like I have to draw well and they have to not stuff my effects.
Long
Fair
have we
enough.
suffered months and months and 12 minutes of story just to finally hear, don't play Mario.
The second we get that ban announcement and Chum goes away, Mario is unstoppable again.
Okay, I might actually believe you then.
Yeah.
I believe a lot more in like
Chum's
strategies that
big
they
issue.
just face when there's no Chum.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Okay, Noah, you played Slippy with me.
Mhm.
How did your KC go? How's your tournament?
Yeah, similar to Dan, my whole weekend was like amazing. I got to travel with Will and Jacques, 2 of my locals. It was Jacques' like first ever like card game big tournament thing. He's been playing for a little while and yeah, just hasn't been able to make it out. So it was cool to see him go to his first ever tournament. Like got me reminiscing a little bit, but thinking back to when I first started playing card game tournaments and traveling. But yeah, I played Slippy, kind of similar deck to what I've been playing for a while now. Maybe a few changes that seem kind of obvious when I look back. That like I probably should have just been doing this before because it's not like the format really changed that much. But yeah, I went 5-2 day 1. I lost to Naib. It was a very sad game. He like attacked me with Weakest Link, and I was like, "You fool! What are you doing with Weakest Link in your deck? Has nothing in the text box." But in reality, just him like knowing my hand made him able to perfectly block and bait me into playing all my reacts when he had a snag set, and I just got completely owned. So that was a bit unfortunate. And then I lost to Austin Kim on Verdance. I had beat him in the last time we played, so it was nice for him to get the clap back. He kind of inspired me when I was just chilling in KC, like at a Starbucks on Monday, not knowing what to do. I went on that like extension that lets you export all your match history to see how many people like I currently have a pending 1 loss against or like a pending 1 win against to see who where my rivalries are at. So he evened up the score. He deserved that one. He played much better than me. And then my Sunday was extremely whack. So up until this point, I'm like, okay, I've played basically the majority of my test games into Gravy. I feel like very confident in the Gravy matchup. However, in all of Singapore, 9 rounds, and so far in this tournament, 7 rounds day 1, I've somehow dodged every single Gravy, played 0 gravies. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wake up this morning, I'm gonna play some gravies. Jacques and I played. We have like a tradition when there's 3 people in a room, but only 2 beds. We always do like a match to see who gets to have the solo bed. So I win the matchup into Gravy for the solo bed. I'm sleeping like a king. And then next day, wake up and I have to play against Lucas number 2, which we call him Lucas number 2 because there's lots of Lucases in Lucas Oswald's area. But with Lucas Oswald's recent performances, he may be getting demoted down to number 2 in the ranks.
I think I'm Lucas 2 and 3 now, but
yeah, it's unfortunate, man. But anyways, yeah, I parented Lucas on Prism, and I'm like, okay, Prism. I don't like playing the match, but it's fine as long as they don't hit on multiple Light of Souls. We should be good. He only hits on 1 out of 2 Light of Souls, so we're good. Then the next round, I pair into another Prism. And I'm like, all right, fine. I got the last one. I know my luck's going to run out eventually, but I'll keep pairing into these Prisms. And this time it's turn 0 Light of Soul. I think the difference is he had a cold foil, whereas Lucas only had rainbow foil. So the cold foil hits every time. Mm-hmm. He managed to resolve 3 Light of Souls before I drew any Popper, D-React, or Codex. So that game did not go my way. And then the next round, I look on my phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm playing Prism again. I played into there was a girl cosplaying Prism. I had been like at tables next to her at a bunch of rounds. I was like, okay, I'm playing Prism again. So I have a great game. I don't take a single point of damage because they resolve 0 Light of Souls. And then the next match, I'm like, okay, this is kind of a meme. I'm talking with Kevin Murphy, just like we chat in between rounds sometimes. I'm like, all right, I know he's in my bracket. I could potentially face another Prism. I sit down for my pairing. It's not Kevin, but it is Prism. So I've now played a 4th Prism in a row. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is just my life now. I'm just only playing against Prisms. And I played this match. They did not resolve a Light of Soul because on like turn 4 or 5, I hit it off of a random banish. I like just nicked Bonds of Attraction or something random, like a blue Bonds of Attraction, and hit it off the top. So I was like, okay, don't have to worry about Light of Soul. So won that game pretty handily. And then the last round, I finally didn't face a Prism. This was my match to make cash. Played against Andrew Lorenz. He always kicks my ass. So going back to the rival thing, I'm 0-2 into him, and neither game has been particularly close. And this is another time when it's also not particularly close. I think in like maybe 6 or 7 turns is how long the game lasted. And he resolved the Bonds turn 0. I resolved 2 other Bonds, one of them hitting 2 Codexes from his hand. It was just like a meme of a game. But yeah, I got there, finished, I think 22nd or 23rd, something like that. 9-3, cashed. It was a great weekend. And then one more anecdote. We went to get food. And before that, I had some like tickets because I got the Fabled package. So I played in the side event, a sealed side event. Got some tickets. Cody also played in this side event, got some tickets. And we decided to pool our tickets together and get a box of the Guardian Mastery Pack. And we go to this ice cream place. It's popping. There's like 50 people in there, and it's probably a fire hazard with how many like kids are running around. And we're opening these packs of Guardian Mastery. And as we open like the first pack, Cody's like, are we just splitting these or what are we doing? I'm like, nah, whatever you open is what you keep. I open the pack and pull the Marvel Seismic Surge. So my luck delayed a little bit too much from tournament to opening packs, but it was a nice cap to the weekend.
It's crazy how different everyone's tournament run is, going back to your 4 Prisms in a row. Like,
yeah, I still
my Saturday, I played like 0 meta decks, and then my Sunday was like nothing but meta deck, Slippy Gravy, etc.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been 19 minutes, and Lucas hasn't talked yet. I think that's
not true. I've interrupted people a few times.
So,
come on,
Lucas. You've been on a little bit of a downswing here. Mm-hmm. How is
Why do we all have to point it out, man?
That's okay.
Fair's fair, because we've all pointed out when it's each other. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. It's just like the first time it's been Lucas.
Yeah,
true.
So, how was your KC?
Yeah,
how you feeling?
So, just a refresher for those of you who did not listen to last week's podcast. I went to Auckland last week, and I played in 2 callings. And in both of these callings, I went 2-3 drop. In this calling in Kansas City, I did better. At this calling, I went 3-3 drop. So we're getting better. We're slowly. Someday I'll make day 2 of a calling. It'll happen. No, but in all seriousness, I think there's a lot for me to learn. So I'll go over my tournament first. My 3 losses were I lost to a Verdance, who I played Gravy for this event, and although I have played a reasonable amount of Gravy, I haven't played enough to feel super confident on the deck, specifically in most of the more niche, like edge of the meta picks. Like I have good reps into like the Mirror and Slippy at this point, but into the things like Verdance and Syndra, I don't have as much experience as I should. And I think that kind of showed in this game. I don't know if I played suboptimally. I think there were probably a few mistakes that I could have definitely made differently. And then I'm sure if a better Gravy player went and watched my game back, they would have some more feedback. But I definitely made some sideboarding decisions, and I ended up getting fatigued by the like Talishar, just like blackout fatigue me game plan. It was close, but I think I made a few pitch stack errors that basically just made it impossible for me to win. And then after this happens, I play this long grindy game. I think I might have a chance. I end up not getting there. The Flesh and Blood gods just decided to feed me to a Brute the next round. I was just absolutely eviscerated. Like I went first. I look at my hand. I'm like, okay, do nothing, pass. He plays 2 Blood Rushes, like plays a Wild Ride Claw guy. Like I was like, okay. I start the game at like 25 or something like that. I block my whole hand because it does nothing. And then, yeah, just a few turns later is just like another Blood Rush. He has multiple times throughout the game where he decides to not block whatever I'm doing. He's like, I'm like, swell, miss, okay. Like bad ally, swing, go. He's like, okay, no blocks, roll scabs, hit 6, hit 5, hit 5. I'm like, okay. So it was kind of just not my game to win. I think I made some mistakes. Although I do not think that skill was what had defeated me in that particular match on that day, but that's okay. Sometimes you lose games where you kind of just feel like you can't do anything about it. And then my 3rd loss was to Anacilio. I was talking with Austin, who is the one of the Gravies that made top 8 and before the event, and he was basically saying that he had played some games with Yudo, and it seemed like probably the best thing for Gravy to be doing is just AB0, ship it, just kind of hope that you can get the disruption going. And Austin did actually beat Anacilio in his win in the last round. So clearly is a strategy that can perform. Did not perform.
He played AB1, by the way.
He might have, yeah. Regardless. It's
because I was literally like 3 rounds before I was talking about the Acilio match with him, and he was like, yeah, no AB. And then after he won the match, I was like, so no AB worked? He's like, nah, I played 1 AB.
You gotta look at him and be like, you know what, you're a 1 AB kind of opponent.
I don't unfortunately, I don't think any amount of Arcane Barrier or Shelter or Spell Void could have saved me. I was just like, it was another game where like I went first. I'm like, okay, do nothing, pass. Or actually, he might have gone first. Regardless, my first turn is do nothing, pass. And then he's like, attack. I keep a Blood in the Water because he's playing a bunch of Gone in a Flash. And then he's like, sigil, shock, set, pass. I'm like, okay, whatever. I like IP a card. Next turn, I'm like, draw up, still no allies.
What were you trying to cook there by saying I kept a Blood in the Water because he's playing Gone in a Flash?
He like played a Gone in a Flash. I decided not to block with it. Basically, it was just like I like made Judgment Call, got punished. Made Judgment Call, got punished. I was kind of like not really in it at this point. At this point, I was
that makes sense.
3-2 with no AB, and I'm just looking over and I'm seeing what he's doing, and I'm looking at the cards in my hand, and I look over at the life totals, and the number at the start of his life total is more than the number at the start of my life total, and it's just not going good. So I got pretty rinsed.
You should have talked to me, because I would have told you that you don't run D-Reacts in that matchup. Your win percentage actually goes up.
I could have had like 0 D reacts and 30 spell void and 40 more armor block, and I still think I just would have gotten shellacked. But regardless, I think it was just a tournament where it was a mix of not preparing enough. I've spent a lot of time recently playing Flesh and Blood rather than testing Flesh and Blood, and my heart recently has been set on testing Flesh and Blood. So what I keep telling people is I just want to play the game, but I keep having to submit something for these damn tournaments. So like I have to register something, even though I want to test everything else. So I'm excited to be done now. So excited that I didn't even bother registering for the Battle Hardened. I took the third X3 day one drop in a row as a sign from the universe that maybe it was time to step away from the tournaments and go back to the drawing board. So I'm very excited to get onto the testing wagon. Obviously, the last few events have not gone my way, which is not something I'm super used to, but I'm excited for what the future holds, and I'm definitely not gonna let these get me super down or anything like that.
We have infinite testing time now,
Indeed,
which I'm super excited that I don't have to prep for an event anymore. I can just play like all the decks.
Dude, what do you mean? We get to prep for Worlds. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. But it's like more of exploratory than like, hey, I have this calling in 2 weeks. I need to find what deck I want to play.
And Worlds is like any prep you do is kind of just semi-fake, given that we still have a new set. We still have like multiple potential ban lists, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You're just exploring what's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My KC was super good. I enjoyed it. Like I said on the podcast last week, I decided to play Slippy. I brought Gravy and Slippy. I was going to, if I failed out, play Gravy in the Battle Harden, but that was not the case. The night before, I was sitting down and I had the deck list that I was looking at, and I'm like, there's an issue with my Slippy list. It doesn't have sigils in it, and I love sigil in my assassin list. And so I just like cut both shreds, because I had like in my testing for like a week and a half, I had not resolved a single shred, and I was like, these are really good in the meta, and they are really good in the meta, like theory wise. I just never resolved them, so I just took them out, put sigils in, and it kind of matched a lot of the style that I wanted to play. It was like as soon as I did that, as soon as the sigils went back in the deck, I was like, oh, I feel good. Okay, let's go. Let's play this tournament. It was just like, so I'll go through my tournament run pretty quick. Round one, I got a bye. I've never had a bye before. It was like, I was like, oh, this might be the run. I've never had a bye before. This got to be good. A good sign. So I got my first bye out of every tournament I've ever been to, which is pretty cool. Round two, I played against a Prism. It was Trevor Galligan, and it was the typical Prism match. Like, I just blocked a bunch, and then I found 6 poppers in a row, and the game was over. That's like, he didn't light a soul me 3 times. He did light a soul, but it missed.
Oh, I gotta get your buff.
So you just like easy win those. Yeah. My next match was against Dylan Dietz, and he was playing Kasai. This match was kind of scary, like, because the Kasai, this matchup should be good for Kasai in theory, and it used to be like good for Kasai, but something just happens like close to the late game where Arachne just gets a damage hand and the game just ends, and that's essentially what happened. Is just like, I just blew out one giant turn that was a little unexpected, and then the game's basically over from there. But I felt behind in the early game for sure. If he had drawn like a blood or something, I'd probably lose the game, but it was kind of like too far away. He didn't end up drawing it. And then round 4, I played against Rob, who was playing Valda. That was on stream. That game was a little unfortunate because like, I'm really happy with how I played that match. He went first. He opened Leyline, which is just like the scariest thing that can happen, because he just has an extra $1 or $2 or sometimes $3 for the rest of the game, because you'll never get rid of the Leyline, essentially. And I played it really conservatively. Like, there's even comments, like, you can watch it on stream where they're just like, Slippies don't play like this. I'm just like blocking and playing sigils. Like, I'm just like waiting for the damage hand.
That's always what you do against Guardian.
Yeah.
You block until they attack you for 4 card 8. Sorry.
Yeah. So he had like infinite dollars, like infinite value against me, but like I was just winning turn cycles. So I was pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, I hit with a bonds, and then I was going through the deck, and we found like 3 cards were upside down, and he had some upside down cards at the beginning of the game that he found. None of this is malicious. So I don't think Rob was doing anything malicious. It was like at the beginning of the game, he drew his first hands, had a card upside down. The judge went, looked through the deck, found some other upside down cards. They just gave him a warning and fixed it. No big deal. unfortunately, like in the middle of the game, I'm going through, we find 3 cards together that are all upside down. And you can like see it on the stream. Like I'm like annoyed that I have to call the judge. Like I don't want to call a judge in that spot, but like that's what you have to do. Like I can't just fix it and hand it back to him. That's not how that works. Like, so I'm like a little exasperated and I call the judge and they give him like an IP2 and then the game ends shortly after that. But I'm like 99% sure I still win the game even without that happening because of the way it was going. Just kind of a sad ending there. And then I play against a Kano after that. That was against Evan Dasher. And that was just, I have the sideboard tech. I block 6 on a wildfire and the game's over. And I have a sigil set. So it was like super great. Then I play against Guy. He's playing Fang. I should have won this game. I'm just an idiot. Like, I've never been in this spot before. Like, I play Fangs all the time. And this match is terrible for Slippy. Like, if you look at like the weekend, the Fangs were like 75% win rate into Slippy. It's like ridiculously hard. But a bunch of things went right in the beginning of the game. And like, I made a lot of like really good calls in the middle of the game. And all of a sudden we're at the end of the game and I'm like up 13 cards on him. I could have fatigued him. I didn't realize it till like 1 turn too late. And then he just had like this massive turn, blew me out, and then killed me with the last card in his deck. And I was like, I'm so dumb. Like I win the game every time if like the turn before that, I just block my whole hand. Like block my whole hand, pass, block my whole hand, pass, block my whole hand, pass. The game's completely over. He just is out of cards. I just didn't realize it. So good on him for finding that out there, but it was like literally last card deck. I die.
Some
And then
there.
and then Eugene C is who I play in round 7. So I'm X1 at this point. And then I had a big blowout on his equipment. He blocked with equipment and I toxined the equipment and destroyed it. And then the game was basically over then. I basically killed him while he had his like right before his big power turn.
Was it Sash?
It was Sash and his arms.
Oh,
I double toxined and got both of them.
You can cut shred when you just draw a double toxin on the right turn. You don't need any shred, right? You don't need 3 of them. Just 2 is fine.
Yeah, 2 is fine. So I ended at X1. I was super happy about that. Not a big complaint. I was upset that I kind of punted the Fang game, but I've legitimately played a pile of Fangs and never been in a spot where fatiguing a Fang was like actually how you would win the game. So it was pretty interesting there. I learned a lot in that matchup. And Guy went on to top 8. He was like crushing the weekend as well. The next day, I'm like hoping I can play Gravies because I have a million reps into Gravy and I'm looking forward to it. And I play against Justin Koo on round 8, playing Gravy, and the strat just works. Like I'm winning on damage and I'm able to like fatigue. So both of the things, I had both options available to me. Then I finally have to play the one match I don't want to play is a Slippy Mirror. I just really dislike playing the Slippy Mirror. It's like all dice roll and then whose deck functions the best. There's like some strategy on like, if you get a health lead, then it's like maintaining the health lead so that you can continue to win the game. Luckily I have some sigils so that if I get space that like I can really like push the lead. Dude, my sigils were gas all weekend.
Right, we know, dude.
I love them. No, you know. They don't know.
Oh,
you know, though.
I played Sigil.
Yeah, I had to hear this every single round about how nuts Sigil is, dude. You're going to get a Sigil tat on your forehead.
But I was playing against Stau, and we were playing Slippy Mirror, and my deck just worked better. It was just how it was. So I'm feeling pretty good. There's only 3 rounds left. I just got to win 2 of them, and I top. And then I play against Evan. Evan's great. I mean, he won the whole tournament. We've played a couple of times, I think, and we talk at every event. Sit down, it's a Gravy. I'm like, finally, I had a second Gravy, and everything's going great. Like, if I could go back, like 5 rounds in, he has like no gold. I've just been, he's at like 29. I've gone through 2 D-Reacts. I've gone through 2 conks already. I'm still at like 30. Dude, this is like the sweetest game ever. And then something happened. He just put 2 scupas on the board, and I looked at my hand, and they didn't clear. And then I started panicking. I was like, oh no. And he got infinite gold the next turn. And then I like set up this big turn. I was like, okay, I figured it out. He has like, so his board is scuba sawbones. And I'm like, okay, I can clear the sawbones and then I can send this attack at his face. I'll pump it out of my arsenal so that I can play Codex afterwards and I can kill a scuba. So I can do all the things this turn. Kill the sawbones, send the attack at his face. No blocks. I react. I break my boots. He goes, oh, it's 6. Here's a D-React for 6. My last one. Just ends my whole turn. I IP'd like 2 cards. I was like, he still has 2 scubas on the board. I set my thing, and he just goes scuba more gold. He goes from 0 gold the whole game to infinite gold. He put my own codex back in the bottom of my deck because he was like that far ahead, and I was like, well, there's nothing I could do now but fatigue. But I was like well aware that he's playing last ditch effort, so like fatigue is like really hard. So my actual idea was just fatigue, and then try and snipe the last ditch efforts with like with cards that I was going to throw at him. And unfortunately, my hands when he was like trying to dig for the last ditch efforts, because you can track it pretty easy. It takes a couple of turns to set up in most cases. And like when I got there, my hands were just all reactions. They were pretty unfunctional, and he just like rolled me over. So that stuff happens. That's like Gravy's great. And you can tell like his deck was built for anyone who had to try and accidentally fatigue him, or the mirror as well, and it really paid off for him. And then I played against Austin, who's a teammate, and he ended up top 8ing. So I guess you can tell where this went. I lost that game. Which was like the one Gravy I don't want to play against is the Gravy who I was testing with to try and beat Noah, so that we know exactly how the deck's supposed to function, and we have a sideboard prep for it. So I'm just sitting there, and not on top of that, he didn't even make it like a fun match for me. He just drew the Runeblade hands. He was like blue tipple dude 5 rounds in a row, and then kills me with like double ley line. And I'm just like, okay, this was not even close. I didn't even get to play the game. I didn't even get to pretend that I was sitting in that seat. And at that point, I'm just like completely out, which is fine. I just told Austin after that if he didn't win the next game, he was out. I was just gonna kick him off the team. So you can't eliminate me from the tournament and then like lose a win in it. So good for him. He ended up top 8ing. But the last round is worth talking about. It was against Randy Davis. He was playing the like fatigue Levia. If anyone say walking around, that game was super fun because I got to do my favorite thing, pitch stack. I just played the game. I put my 2 Kodachis on the board, starting on like turn 3. And then I just pitch stack 2 damage hands.
For those who are curious what he means he made a Graphene Chilisera token.
Yes. I like literally flicked a dagger to just get it out of the way so I could make a Graphene and just play Kodachis for the whole game. And then I damage stacked 2 turns. He was still at like 30 going into my last 2 turns. And then I was just like, nah, you die. And then it was great. Did my favorite thing. I think every tournament I play, pitch stacking is relevant in at least one of my games. It just wins me a game. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's been paying off, learning how to do that a million years ago. But
it's one thing we kind of memed on it for a while, but like we have definitely come full circle where like knowing your and your opponent's pitch stack is a very relevant skill in CC. Mm-hmm. Like the 2 top decks being like the 2 top decks being Gravy and Slippy. Like those are just 2 examples. And then like you look at the fringe, even like stuff like Verdance, like all of the pitch stack heroes are quite relevant. So to all you naysayers who say that the people who know how to pitch stack are lying to you, go play this format, man.
I mean, it won me the game. It won me basically $200 because I made top 16. I finished 15th. Overall, pretty happy with that. I think the only like real thing I was upset about is losing to that Fang that I think it could make a little unlucky on some of the Gravy games, but it be what it be. Everyone that I lost to made top 8, and I was also the winner. So, yeah, that always kind of feels a little good. And plus, when you end on like a pitch stack game, your tournament just feels good. I don't know what it is, but it feels great. But it was a ton of fun. I played a bunch of Blood on the Clock Tower for the first time as well. Ate some good food. I had ice cream that was dirt cheap. I don't know what's going on in Kansas, but like the prices there were amazing.
Like $5
you show up
for 6 scoops of ice cream.
Then like the one smaller than that was like, here's 4 scoops of ice cream. It's $3. I'm like, where do you buy things that are $3? Like, what is happening?
What year is
it? The menus, all the prices started with a 1. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was nice.
I didn't get to tell you guys because everyone left the venue because it was like 9 p.m. But I finally got to try Kansas City barbecue Sunday night.
Nice.
After my buddy James took down the Battle Hardened on Kano.
And
it was good. You have to tell us if it was good.
No, it was insane. I thought that was implied. It was great. It was delicious.
Okay.
I think it was called Q39 or something.
That's where we went as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that place was fantastic.
That was awesome. The baked beans were not very good.
Yeah, the sides were not the best, but I got the bacon wrapped shrimp appetizer as well.
Ooh.
So,
but
it was good.
Just a little Runaways brag. We had 2 people in top 8. Connor made top 8 on Dash.io, which was sweet to see him top.
He made top 4, right?
He made
top 4. Yep. And then Austin also made top 8 playing Gravy, which is great. If you are a gilded tier member of Metafy, you'll be getting his deck list and sideboard guide will be coming out with this episode as well. which is also like the list I was going to play. It's a list we've been working on. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think his deck's like really good into both the mirror and Slippy.
It's one of the only gravy decks that's like wide enough. I looked at like everyone's stats on like what they played against, and he was one of the few people who was winning like the wide meta matches. And everyone else just like lost to two, like they lost to like an Acilio and they lost to a Fang, and then they just beat everything else. Everything else was expected on the run, but he like beat a Fang, beat an Acilio, like yeah. So the deck is built in a way where it can crush those
also beat two
bad matchups as well. Yep. Which the prisms adjusted. We can actually talk about this. It's one of the interesting stats from KC. The prisms adjusted and actually had a winning ratio into gravy at this tournament. I mean, it's close. It's like 55%. So it's like, whatever. But that's significantly better than what it was before. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, like the prism who topped did not play any gravies until top 8. But I looked through everyone else's, and there were like plenty of prism lists that beat like 2 or 3 gravies. So they did some adjustments where they were like hard herald fatiguing and like using rebirth to put cards back on top of their deck, and it was like
people were playing a lot of rebirths.
Yeah, there are a lot of rebirths, using those to just auto put things back on top of their deck and just like hard fatiguing out the gravies. It was a cool adaptation to see.
Yeah,
for sure. I did think that just a couple of things. Verdance once again had 25%. Into gravy that so they cannot win that matchup. Stop saying
so good. 40% conversion to day 2, third most represented deck in day 2, and then guys, it's not that hard. Gravy. It's not that hard to beat gravy. Trust.
There was some great quote.
I don't trust.
As I was just like walking around listening to people talk about like the end of match, because you know it's usually the Verdance gravy games that are going super late, and the Verdance players
that's their
are
first
just
mistake. Why are you taking them late? Punch him in the face. But continue.
Okay. Anyways, so I'm listening to the end of those games, and when the Verdance loses, they're all just like, "Oh, this is the first gravy that I've lost to. Like the first time my strategy hasn't worked. Like every time, everyone's just like, oh, it's been working so good before." I think it was just a good testament of like what we've been talking about for like months now, of just the difference in the gravies you practice into, giving you such different expectations of how the matchup is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, even you've seen some of the stream games even in the last few weeks. I've definitely, like, you can tell that there are some gravy players who will just like never lose to this strategy. I'm not one of them, but they exist.
Yeah, you will be.
I will be defeated, but better, stronger gravies will not be.
It was funny. A good example of that is like one of my locals who actually ended up, I think, making the finals of the Battle Hardened, the other Mario that topped as well. But he was going to play gravy, and he had this new gravy strat that was just beating up all the assassins. And then at our locals on Thursday before we go, he like shows it to me, and I'm like, well, I hope we play, because if this works, I'm just going to take your deck and play it. But I don't believe you. And so we sat down and played. We played the match. He's like, no one has ever played the matchup like this against me. And I just like, it was like, I just rolled him. He's like, okay, I'm just done playing this. I've been testing this for 15 hours and no one's done that to me. So I'm just going to not play this anymore. And then he branched out. He played Mario, had good success with it that way. But I think it's funny, this game, more than any other game I've ever played, how someone approaches a matchup between two heroes dramatically changes how the actual outcome of the game happens. And that just like has never really been the case in other card games that I've played. Not as dramatic as it is here.
It feels like you get to play a game with your opponent in addition to playing a game against their deck, which is one of, I think, most of our favorite parts about Flesh and Blood. Mm-hmm. Definitely Noah's.
Oh yeah, it's the best. That's why all my sideboard notes are like, I sideboard my notes are like how you should play the matchup in a vacuum. But when it comes down to game time, I'm looking at my opponent, I'm evaluating, like, it's a Acilio. Normally I'm like, I want like maybe 2 sinks out of my 60 reacts. But then sometimes I'm like, this feels like someone who used to play Aurora. They're going to be throwing in Twine Lightnings at me. Give me all these D reacts. Can't explain it, but it's just how it is. It's great.
a couple of interesting stats here as well. Acilio, once again, only 60% into gravy. I think these Acilios need to build their deck better. They all just lose the chum because they refuse to run attacks in their deck that kill chum. Like, they just like ignore the fact that they have to kill chum before they can combo off. I was having a pretty good conversation with Joe, who is a Acilio player, and he was showing me his list that has like E-strikes in it and max fries for that matchup. And him and I sat down and played some games where I was playing gravy, and I'd play 3 chums. He'd clear all 3 chums, and then he'd combo off afterwards. And it was like infinitely stronger than most of the Acilios I play against, who you put 1 chum out and they have to like break boots, do all this crazy stuff, take all this damage. He's just like blocks 2 cards, plays an E-strike into it, and like moves on with his life. Like, I don't know what's going on in the Acilios. You should probably build your deck better though. But so good luck, because they all lost. They lost their matchups in the top 8, and then they only have 60% into gravy. But I think when I play against good Acilios, I'm like 20% into that matchup. Matchup's like actually hard. So I thought that was interesting. Whatever the Prisms did, they just whatever the Verdances did, they went to 0% against Prism at this tournament, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I should have played Verdance. I could have at least like top 8 of the Battle Hardened or something, just to like keep her name in people's good graces. Because good lord, I feel like Thanos. It's like, fine, I have to do it myself. I'm lucky.
Iroh was brought back down a little bit, just kind of 40% win rates across the board, which is kind of where we.
That was a surprise for me, honestly. I felt like Iroh was kind of breaking out a little bit. I expected her to be doing better moving forward. I don't know.
I think I was very strong.
I think the Gravies have adjusted to kind of have a better understanding of that matchup, and they're not getting blown out by that disruption as much, which I think was a big part of it. I think her tricky way of playing that matchup in particular gave her a lot in the past few weeks, and I think people have maybe caught up now.
It's just hard for Iroh to high roll, and when she falls behind, she's just infinitely behind.
Iroh can definitely high roll. I assure you. She can play 3 Whirling Mist Blossoms in the same turn and 30 you. So she definitely has it in her.
But maybe they weren't playing that strat. Maybe they need to run the other helmet.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Aaron Grace's list. He also went 9-3, but he was playing like mono Whirling Mist Blossom Searcher Hat.
Was he playing Fiddler's Green?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but it was more than 1.
Yeah, I think there are good builds of Iroh to tackle out there. They weren't the ones that were popular.
Yeah, I think Iroh is similar to Verdance, where it's like you can't like take a list and just play it. You really have to like build it for a specific tournament, which is why I think just tournament to tournament, most people don't like sit down and rebuild their whole deck and relook at how they fundamentally are supposed to play into all the different matchups and like evaluate from there. People just kind of like play whatever the thing that has worked in the past is. So I think those 2 heroes, it kind of makes sense why they might suffer.
You know who my breakout deck of the tournament is, though? Is Fang.
Yeah.
Fang's win rate into Gravy and Slippy is crazy. It's 78% into Gravy and 75% into Slippy. It's just
wild.
That's just disgusting. Yeah. Like that is.
And at least some of them.
If it could just win anything else, it would be.
I played some games with Fang like right after the event. I was like, wait, this deck looks super sweet. I want to check it out. And then I was gaming. I was pairing in some Slippies, some Gravies, just cooking them, marking them, getting my fealties, going face. And then I played into people who have a lot of the cards that have 3s and 4s in the bottom corner. And I attacked and they put their card sideways. And then I had no more cards left. And then I queued into another one and I attacked. They put their cards sideways and then I had no more cards left. So I think it'll be interesting to see the evolution of that hero. See if there are lists that can kind of avoid these problems, because it currently feels like the kind of hit the meta and just like against everybody else, you just like get sent to Jesus. But as long as you send the 2 best decks to Jesus, it doesn't matter, I guess.
I think probably the answer to the blocky decks exists somewhere in the world, but when Guy was playing against the Acilio on stream, if you didn't tell me that the Acilio had an opponent, I wouldn't have noticed. Like, I don't think I recall a single game action that Guy took.
Agreed.
Like, literally nothing he did mattered the entire game. It was all just like, how does the Acilio play this? And like, when is the Acilio going to decide to put him out of his misery?
You play into like any broken deck, and you're just like, do your thing, man. I'll be over here making some fealty tokens, and we'll meet at 0 life. I'll see you there.
That is definitely his issue. We'll see if he gets a card in the next set, maybe. That could help. But, I mean, his Ira match seems good. Obviously, his Kasai match is great. And then the 2 best decks in the game he's good into. I still think Slippy is like the 2nd best deck in the game. Even
Well, I was told the Mario
post
matchup's
results.
pretty bad.
I wouldn't know. Might
Yeah.
be.
That's what my Fang opponents were saying.
Well, the thing is, the Fang deck is basically built. If you look at like Guy's list, I'll use as a reference. They have infinite D reacts that block for 3. Like their list is built to beat Slippy, where they can do 3+3, but it just doesn't work when Mario Hero Power's online.
Yep. I mean, at this point, it actually just seems like the worst match for Gravy is Fang. At least that's what these stats
It's
say.
been the
It
most-
doesn't feel that.
It's been the most.
It doesn't
proven.
feel that way though, but it
Yeah.
is the most proven. I
It's,
agree.
I think it's because the way that you lose games into a lot of the other decks, like the way that Gravy functions into a lot of the decks like Acilio or Syndra, is basically like when the Gravy deck just goes absolutely ham and draws the nuts, it just like wins almost every time. And we don't kind of like realize it. But I think Fang has a little bit more of an ability to kind of deal with those draws because he can block. But he still has that like super consistent aggressive game plan that can clear allies and kill you really quickly. But
He plays 1-card hands really well.
yeah, when you're
Once
playing
he's
like
turned on.
Acilio or Syndra, it doesn't matter how good your matchup is. If they just like go like Tipple, Conqueror, Rigor Mortis, set ley line, next turn ley line, 30U, loot the hold. It's like, okay, game's over in 2 turns. But Fang can like, I think, manage that a little bit easier. Which I think, like in general, I think it makes sense that the more robust of the aggro decks would be stronger into Gravy. Just like Hook and Conqueror kind of just like make that inherently the case, I feel.
I mean, yeah, hard to argue with 18-5 on the
Yeah.
weekend. And I think 2 of those losses were to Austin. Something like that. So
Indeed.
I think that's pretty funny.
That was one of them.
You
I had
were
a sick game against Mara, round 2.
nice.
I absolutely did not deserve to win that game. But
I'm pretty sure they were just talking about Fang
I
and the
chased it
Gravy. But
We were talking about
Oh,
Fang
oh
and
my God.
Gravy.
you can
that
share
makes
your
more
wins.
sense.
No, you beat her up. Yeah.
You did good.
Good job. Mario best deck.
Syndra once again did not do anything
said it.
like we predicted, like we expected it to
Yeah.
do. Just want to point that out for everyone who was upset that we told people not to play Syndra.
Yeah. I think Syndra still suffers from like nobody's like, I don't know. I feel like the hero is just like championed by none.
Like Jacuzzi's the champion, dude. He was shouting from the rooftop. Syndra's broken.
Yeah. Unlucky.
She's got one champion at least.
Did you play Syndra this weekend?
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he went
no
9th.
idea.
He did well.
I mean, there will be people who do well. I think as a collective, though, I think the deck is not great, but its matchup spread is kind of dubious. It was only 53% into Gravy this weekend.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it was 44% into Slippy.
That's pretty.
I
high,
think.
honestly.
Oh dude.
Yeah, I think it's pretty high. Honestly, what happened with Slippy this weekend was just that the Gravies, I think, caught up. I think that it looks like day 2 Gravies were like too strong.
I think
for the
just all the
Slippies.
Slippies like choked at least one round. Like there were so many Slippies at 9-3. Just like
There were a lot.
we slipped through the cracks of top 8. You know.
Yep.
We let one too many losses enter the column and couldn't get there.
Cool. Any Riptide sucked. I just want to throw that out there.
Before moving on, let me just.
Before moving on, I would like to reiterate Riptide sucks.
Just best time. What do you mean? He just got like the worst expansion slot
That's a
card ever
crazy take.
printed. How could he suck?
It's a crazy take. I mean, there weren't that many Riptides to be fair, but that deck sucks. So we good. You can pack that one away.
Well, if you're saying Riptide sucks, I mean, look at Jarl, dude.
Yeah.
You would have had a better time registering a Blitz deck than playing Jarl.
Dude, we're
Man.
bullies
Oh,
on.
it used to be good. That's so sad.
Well, then they banned the reason he was good,
Correct.
and then he became Oldhim.
You know what's funny? Victor won 3 games against Gravy. I think 2 of those were Shane.
Yeah, Shane was carrying the torch, dude. He
Oh
was- he
yeah,
was cooking 'em.
100%.
I think that's funny.
Yeah,
Using
we
the
discovered,
Wanji tweeted out list.
Shane's not here to say this, but we discovered a new ability. The card Daily Grind is actually just Arclight Sentinel in disguise.
Yeah,
Like you play it, and then the opponent just passes their turn because they're like, "Oh, I don't want to get milled."
I did.
This is the
I've
most busted
played
card of all
against.
time.
I've played against this Victor deck a lot, and it is Arclight Sentinel like a lot of the time. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like you like
just
look
play
at
it,
your,
they're like,
It
"Oh,
absolutely is not ever Arclight Sentinel.
well, no,
Why
no,
is
but
so
it's
ridiculous?
like
Treat it like that,
you
man.
look at your hand and you're like, I could do like 10 damage, and then like set a card, and you're gonna like your hand's not gonna change. You block 10 for free. Like you'll block 10 and do the same thing that you're gonna do regardless. Like you either block 0 and Miller's Grindstone me, or you block 10 and Miller's Grindstone me. And so I could let you destroy the top 4 cards of my deck, but I'll just pass.
I don't know.
It's
But in my deck, 10 is 5 go again 5, and then that's like hard to deal with. Like I'm chipping damage, or you're not swinging.
well, but they don't care about not swinging. They're just blocking you out. So
Right.
you go 5 into 5, and they go block 2 cards, destroy your next hand.
Okay, I don't need that hand.
what, they mill all your codexes and kiss of deaths, and you're sad."
Whatever, I got more. I'll just mantle into it.
Dude, that's what everybody
True.
thinks. That's what I thought. I was playing Slippy. I thought I would mantle into it, and then I mantled.
I mean, I play a
into it.
lot of games into this deck. but-
Man, the amount of games where Mantle was a monster, they got to ban that card, man.
Yeah, I think
they
I
gotta
cast
get rid of-
0 on the whole weekend.
They got to ban Mantle.
Wait, you cast 0 mantles?
I don't think I ever did the swap ability. Like maybe once or
Are you
twice.
serious? Oh, dude, that's just like
Yeah, it was so sad.
I feel like I'm always playing my games towards that as like the okay,
is-
here's my comeback of just
Same.
like
It's funny.
I'm gonna
Oh.
keep
It
sleeping.
feels like
I'm usually not
Slippy
having to come back.
It feels like Slippy Mantle is so much easier than Mario. I don't know why. I just always get that vibe. It's probably just because your daggers just like randomly hit.
I mean, they play
Okay,
like
I know exactly why.
quadruple my stealth count.
No, it's because you play so many
Oh,
absolutely
yeah, 'cause
dog
there's no-
water stealth cards.
I
Bro,
forgot. I forgot there
favorite
was no
card.
stealth cards in the Mario deck.
my favorite card. I play Prowl. My opponent's like, what is this card? Gives +1. Okay, completely useless. I'm never blocking. All right, cool. The freest mantle of all
Mantle
time.
bond.
It's the ultimate
that's why-
deception. You play the worst stealth card you could possibly do. They don't block it.
But that's
It's
why
also
they
a
need
pitch
to
card in
ban
my
it.
deck.
It's a pitch card.
They have to ban it. You can't
No,
play
like
around
Slippy's
it.
not
Like,
swinging dagger ever. That's not part of the game plan.
No, in a lot of matchups that go late, you do like pitch it early. It's like one of the easiest cards to do like the kind of pitch stack because you're like not going nag on the turn cycle to pitch it.
Mhm.
The common
So-
play pattern in Slippy is like if you have the tunic, it functions like a ghetto blue where you can like send the Chalissa and then Codex CNC still.
so we have once again seen Gravy do well by top players. Do we think Gravy should be touched still?
That's such a silly.
That's always the question.
I
don't
think it's like
anyone should
Starva
be
levels
touched
of ridiculous,
unless they have to.
personally.
I don't think.
Well, the winning list only played Blue Swell. Just point that out. Red Swells weren't even in the list.
Yeah, Red Spell's always been terrible. I don't know why.
I feel
People
so
are crazy about
vindicated.
that card.
The Red Swells actually help you win the faster matchups like Syndra and whatnot.
Yeah, it helps you high roll, but it's like I don't know. It's kind of whatever. Like,
Well, it's like how you beat a Cilios and stuff like that more reliably is like when your deck actually deals damage.
yeah, but it's also like a contextual card. Like sometimes a swell is irrelevant if you're like keeping cards to hope that
They
it
should
works
just
out for you.
ban Red Swell. Just take the guesswork out of the whole question. That's what they should do. Ban Red
Well,
Swell.
How do they ban
September
Red
1st.
Swell?
I'm just-
I will say on the topic of gravy balance, I made some takes last week, I think it was, right? Talking about all the design flaws with this hero. And it was much better received this weekend than my last design take. I'd say like 95% of my conversations, and I have a lot of conversations at these events, devolved into like, why is Gravy? Why Gravy? Why does he exist the way he does? And it wasn't even me leading it. Like the other person always started. I was like, oh God, you're going to make me get into this. Like
With that-
everyone I
that-
talk to is just like crashing out over this hero's design.
It's because they've all been playing Flesh and Blood too long. Didn't they know? We're Yu-Gi-Oh now. We've morphed.
Mm.
With that said, I actually like the meta. I had a lot of fun playing.
Oh, dude,
in the
yeah.
meta.
If I could play another tournament tomorrow, I would do it. Like,
Same.
I had a blast.
I like it when I don't play against Gravy.
I don't.
I
mind
wouldn't
playing
know, bro.
Gravy.
I never play against them in tournament.
I only
I
played
think I
against
like it in
one.
theory.
I just keep going X3 drop, so I just don't play against any of these.
Yeah, you're not playing with the
because they all have fewer than 3 after their X. Unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gravy power level is probably a little too high. Needs to be touched. I would be fine with, swells or. I actually thought someone mentioned port side. I was reading on Twitter, and I did not consider port side, but
I think,
it is pretty gas.
I think Gravy has a lot of those blues where it doesn't seem like it's like a big deal, but if you hit any of like Call to the Grave, port side, Chart the High Seas, even like Tipple, like you could hit some number of Tipples as well. Like I think the hit to Gravy that makes the most sense from like a guessing perspective is probably either Call to the Grave or Tipple. But I think like a lot of those like just blue consistency cards kind of fit in the same realm. I think maybe Chum is like the thing that should be hit, especially if there's like an expansion slot card for Gravy in the upcoming set. Like if he's getting like another ally or something.
It's got no weapon.
What I would honestly like
It says
to see
tap your hero. Your opponent has to attack this weapon this turn.
But I think it probably will get a little bit of a hit, but I think it'll be like an Autumn's Touch-esque. Like
I think it's all it needs.
Yeah, I think they
personally.
don't want
I
to
think
change the
that's
meta.
fair.
They just want there to be a little bit less Gravy dominance, I think.
We
Especially
did a fun.
especially as we move towards Worlds, right? Because it's a pretty bad look if Gravy is like clearly best deck for Singapore. All the events in between, it's like, okay, Gravy's the best deck. We go to ProQuest, it's like, okay, yeah, cool, Gravy's the best deck. And then we
Dude,
go
it's
to
like
Worlds,
embarrassing watching this hero on
Gravy's the
stream.
best deck.
What are you talking about? The finals is an amazing game. Like if you haven't watched the finals, which is just a Gravy mirror, it is a very, very well played game.
They've been making
and very interesting.
Dude, all of the new heroes are so interesting to watch on stream because it's all just like, I'm gonna swell, let's see what happens, and it's like, oh, you get to see,
Oh, it's 2 action points. I win.
yay!
Yeah, but that's good for stream. I don't know.
Yeah, all these like
guess.
random variants.
I don't know. The
nobody asked
finals
for.
wasn't like that though. The finals was like.
Well, it's because
really
it's
good.
2 Gravies. It's like when you compare Gravy to a different deck is what I'm getting at. It's just like this is not the same game they're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit chain-esque in that regard, though, right? Of like Lux hacking off the top, where like
Oh,
you could pop.
I thought you
off
meant that
and
you just
like,
can't lose unless you're playing against exactly the same deck.
No, I mean like sometimes on like turn 2, what if you just like hit the perfect Rune Gate card to pair with your hand, and then like your hand is now super unlocked? It's kind of similar there, no?
Yeah, I mean, with that one version that existed for a tournament.
Yeah, and then it
A
got
half.
completely destroyed. This is
It
my
got
point.
completely
and then it got
destroyed.
completely destroyed. But then like we have that existing now, where it's like you have this like Lux sack factor to the deck, while it also is just consistent even when you don't. Do that.
Yeah. Surely, if they can take my Rune Gate chain away from me, they can take Gravy away from other people. It can't do all the things. It does
Agree.
all the things. Ban
That's what I'm
everything.
saying.
Yes.
It's only
So-
fair.
So at dinner on Sunday, we did this fun thought exercise. It was name one card in Gravy that isn't ban worthy, that you like couldn't make a case for, and we couldn't do it. Like name a card in the deck that you couldn't argue is like bannable.
Like that definitely isn't bannable.
Oyston.
I mean, you just go for all like the
No,
shitty
Oyston's OP. What do you mean?
You just go for the shitty allies
See?
first, right? Like past shitty allies, it becomes hard.
Which one?
I think maybe back alley.
I could see all of them going. The card we're just talking about wins the game on the spot.
Actually,
yeah,
maybe,
that's
they,
the most.
they would hit back alley, so that it's like an indirect Call to the Grave hit, and it also just like
Yeah.
takes some of the randomness.
Just like the whole deck is like a candidate for banning, though.
I feel like they're
surely
going to
this
keep
is too
back alley
strong.
though, because back alley is part of a like pitch deck game plan that like
I
where
don't
you
think
have to
you
know
need
the
to ban.
examples.
You don't have to ban Prismatic Leyline. I think that card's like strong, but it's balanced.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
posed this question in the
Because-
hotel lobby on Sunday as well, and I think it was Jacob Clemens. It's funny, he pointed out Portside Exchange as not that broken, and then Cody's first take was Portside Exchange is too broken. Felt like a good candidate.
Well, I mean, it's essentially just like move cards and make a gold. Like,
Yeah.
loot the hold is like basically unbannable. I feel like that's just like
Oh, You could definitely see that card being banned. What do you mean?
There's no shot. It's just like a random card that's like a lot of people aren't even playing, and it's just like
What do you mean a lot of
disrupts.
people aren't playing? Everybody plays it.
I
They
could
just
see the
don't
double
sideboard
being
it in
banned for
always.
sure.
There were definitely multiple gravy lists throughout the weekend that was not playing that card.
That played 0 in their 80.
Yep.
Okay. And maybe in the
The,
expert
the,
bracket.
the casters mentioned it a few times. That's the only reason I'm saying this. So
Okay.
But like, this is the quality of cards that we're not playing in this deck. These are blue cards. Like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling to get like a 4th blue stealth card in my deck because they're all unplayable.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
look at the gravy cards that Gravy's not playing. It's like it's kind
Yeah,
of
the fact you don't jam like all the sloops, all the swells into your deck is like wild.
Mhm.
Just
Yep.
because there's so many better cards.
That's fair. Anything else
yeah.
on
Loot the
KC
Arsenal's never seen the light of day.
before we move on to podcast questions? No? Okay. Next, we're going to do podcast questions. These are asked by members of our premium Discord. If you'd like to be able to ask questions on the podcast, you can join our Metafy. You can find all the 3 deck lists that I've mentioned previously, including Austin's gravy and sideboard that he just topped with is going up by the time this comes out, and a bunch of other things in the description below. First question here is from Millen. He asks, which CC heroes could be deleted, kept only as young, and the game would only get better thanks to it?
Dash.io.
Everything in the don't play tier.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, I was
Please
gonna
don't
say.
play tier.
Kano?
And
Kano
Gravy
could go
Bones.
away.
Yeah, Gravy Bones. Yeah, the game would definitely not get any worse.
I mean, I'm not sold on that. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, we had a brief intermission where I decided to just like delete my browser. So you can blame me for the bad quality. Cody is
Yeah.
a master of editing though, so it's perfectly seamless. You know who to thank.
I'm good at slapping a couple things together, I guess.
Boss.
Okay, next question here. Thorgor asks, do you do anything different as a team the week before a calling or battle hardened type event to lock and prepare? Curious if it kicks up a notch and there's like a flurry of finalized tech cards, etc.
Yes. I think
I mean, we do more practice, but for the most part, we're kind of doing our own thing a lot of the time for calling and battle hardened type events. For tier 4, though, it's like having meetings and locking down the exact 80.
Yeah, normally what we'll do for big events is we'll basically all gather in a hotel room for whatever like the team deck is, everybody who's playing or interested in that deck, and we'll just put the deck, fan it out on the table, and kind of just go through everything, and you know build out the deck from there, make the last couple choices from there. But there's definitely like a in-person final go over the deck, make sure everything makes sense, make sure everyone's on the same page kind of deal.
Yeah, I definitely am changing cards up until literally deck submission is ending for
Yeah.
calling battle hardened type things. I try not to be that bad
Agreed.
for the tier 4s. Hopefully I have more prep, but for these, yeah, there's definitely the last minute activity of like you're assessing the Friday, you do like the Friday walkthrough, you like, inspect the room, see what people are playing, like, maybe I do want those snags or I want those poppers or the Kano respect kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Cody sigils.
Yeah, exactly. You want the sigil perfectly. See? You do this.
Oh, I do this for sure, especially when I
Nobody
need to
does
take
this
the
at
deck
tier
list.
4s.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, we do it at tier 4. It's like Zen at Worlds.
I remember the one moon.
One moon is important.
That was very important.
Oh, the blue second tenant thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very important in Amsterdam.
Yeah, it's usually refining that like last sideboard slot or two based on how the meta finally shaped up to appear.
Mm-hmm.
He Who Smites asks, what are some tips y'all use to reset your mental after a tough loss in a big event and not to torpedo future events or rounds?
I gotcha. I'll take this one. I feel like I'm qualified to answer. The first big thing I think is like you got to find which one of these works for you. In my experience, everybody gets a lot of help from either figuring out why you lost and just giving yourself a quick justification, like, oh, I maybe made some mistakes, but I got unlucky, on to the next one. Or if you're unable to do this, just like don't worry about it at all, right? If it's going to bother you, if you're somebody who you can't kind of get over, like if you think that you made a misplay and that's why you lost, you just can't really be focusing on that and thinking about that during the tournament. Like you just kind of have to eliminate that from your mind and distract yourself, whether that's listening to music or texting somebody that that you love and asking them to make you feel better about it, or going to talk to your friends or listening to other people's bad beats or whatever it is. Just like don't stay in the moment if staying in the moment is going to be problematic for you. And then if you're like one of the people who gets frustrated because they don't know what happened, then you can do like a quick justification for yourself. Like, okay, I lost this because I made a mistake. Now we know this was a mistake I made. Moving forward, I'll be able to adjust for that. So I think ultimately it's always going to be different depending on the person, depending on your history and your past and your psychology. So find what's best for you, but make sure you listen to yourself. I would say is like my biggest overall feedback is just like, your body and your mental are things that you can normally track pretty well, and definitely better than anybody else can track them. So, if you are dwelling on your game for a long time after a match, and you do that after a few losses, and you realize that you're always tilted the round after, maybe try just like as soon as you're done with the match, just like don't say anything and go find a friend and tell him, hey, how did your run go? Just ignore your game and listen to him talk. Just whatever you think is gonna be able to.
I have completely opposite advice, but I think you had something to say, Cody. So you can go first.
Yeah, as someone who would get knocked out of top 8 contention and then just plummet the next game afterwards, I have resolved this issue. I thought I was gonna because normally if I punted that Fang game on day 1, I'd probably lose the match after that, because I just it was a completely one game. If I just realized it one turn earlier, it is impossible to lose. But I was just I don't know. I just said I'm not going to do it again. It was literally, I was I just acknowledged the fact that this is normally a situation in which I would just tilt off the face of the planet. And then the next game, all I would think about was how I had a completely one game. I did I against a bad matchup, and I just punted it away. You can't top 8 when you punt games away like that. That would be all the stuff. All that stuff was going through my head like it normally would. And I was just it's I resolved this, earlier in the year because I stopped doing this. But I simply just said, I'm just not going to do this again. I'm not going to tilt off and punt off the games. I've already been here. I've already done the thing. I'm just not going to do it anymore.
If you're dumb enough, if you're going to make your beat yourself up and be like, you're so stupid for making this misplay. Imagine how much dumber you look if you let that ruin your next game. Then you just look like a complete moron. Then you'll never top 8 a tournament. If every X1 drains your ability to go into to go better next one, what are you doing?
I mean, I am a salty little bitch after I lose quite often, especially when it knocks me out of contention. It's just I stop I don't know, I stop modulating my voice, and it sounds really it's really dickish sometimes how I talk afterwards. Yeah. I'm aware that this is a thing that happens. So if you deal with me that way, just know that most of the time that is just about me, myself. I'm just kind of pissy that this thing happened, but it's has something to do with any of my opponent or anything. It's why I try and make sure I was a little pissy after Evan beat me because of the whole the scoop thing. But I literally said well played because he played the matchup really well. Most gravies just lose from that spot. He 0-5'd the first 5 rounds, did nothing, and then found the way to get back in the game by double scooping me. I was you played really well, but sometimes my tone is not very great afterwards. But I didn't tilt off the face of the planet again after doing this, because I could have easily just not top 16 because I was going to tilt off. And I was nah, I'm going to get my money. I did all this work. I got to the spot. I'm just going to play my next match well, and I'm going to get my money. So
yeah, you got to have integrity for yourself, right? You can't let yourself ruin all of your hard work just because you lost one game.
So that was just a PSA to anyone that I've spoken to after I lost the game and I sounded like a super dick. I was it's just because I'm thinking about other things. I'm a little pissed off, and I stop controlling how my voice sounds, and it just becomes a super dickish.
Okay. You have anything to say, Dan?
Yeah, if you want me to go first, it's really quick.
This man knows why.
Yeah, I would just say just know that your losses don't matter until you're out of contention. That first loss or 2 means nothing. You have to win the same number of rounds regardless to make it. So first ones are kind of whatever. I'd say once you do get knocked out of contention, give yourself a little bit of time to grieve. You probably invested a lot of time and effort into this tournament run. So let yourself be upset, but then you got to focus up and get that money.
Yeah, Connor Bryant, our DO teammate who made top 8s, he lost round 4 and 5, and then one out from there. So clearly, your
Yeah.
penultimate loss does not have to be your last.
If you want to top the event, you're gonna have to win a lot of games in a row. So
Yeah, at some point you're winning like 6 or 7 straight.
I mean,
Okay.
my top four at nationals, I got an IP2 and lost the game, and I still topped the tournament. So that's what I remind myself. I've done this. I've messed up before and still topped.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Noah.
Okay, my thing, this was huge. I realized this on the plane ride back that I've started doing this recently, and it's like dramatically helped my mental. And I think almost anybody can implement this. One size fits all. Start being like a cheerleader for your opponents that you lose to. So like instead of after the match thinking like, wow, I suck, I lost, how could I do this? Be like, okay, my opponent just beat me. Now I really hope that they top 8. You don't have to like check in with them every round, speed run to their table, be like, oh, did you win? Did you win? But like how Cody was saying, he's like, all right, Austin, like you better top 8 now. You beat me. I felt that same like kind of attitude towards my opponents where I'm like, okay, you beat me. You know, I'm defeated. Now you got to be the one to go on, carry the torch, and like win the tournament. So I think like shifting your mental from like I lost to the my opponent won, and I want to like wish them success moving forward. I think just kind of framing it more positively like that has like helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's something that I've always kind of done intrinsically. I'm always quite positive. No, not always. I'm most of the time quite positive at the table when I lose.
Dude, you were so salty when I beat you at Baltimore.
Yeah.
You were about to. You just
No,
like,
that's
stuffed your cards in your box and bounced.
that's why I said most of the time. Dude, that game was but I can say I've definitely experienced this for like I normally do not have super big problems with chaining losses together. Obviously, there are
Speaking from
exceptions.
experience, yeah.
Yeah, there are exceptions, but I agree. I think having a positive outlook towards your opponent helps. A lot of people get caught up into the trap of like, oh, I lost to this guy who was so terrible, and like, he made so many mistakes, and I'm so mad about it. And I think
That's the conversation you can have at dinner that night. But during the tournament, it's
Yeah.
all positive. Like you're cheering them on. They defeated you, and therefore they should go on to win. Because then it's kind of like you feel more validated about yourself, right? Like, oh, I lost to the champion. Okay.
Cody said everybody I lost to made top 8 like 4 times in the last hour and a half. So clearly, it's validating at least partially.
Yeah, look at him smiling.
It definitely is. The person you lose, like people you lose to, all top the event. So
Indeed.
I also like all the people I lost to, so it was like not that big of it. Like I like Evan, I like Guy, like I like Austin. Make sure I say that. I like him now that he actually topped. I would not have liked him if he didn't top.
You like forgot his name and then I had to think about it for a second.
Edit that clip in of you saying I like Austin. You didn't say that the first time.
Yeah. If he hadn't topped, if he'd lost the next round, oh no, we'd have a problem. But that usually helps. Okay, Wardo77 asks, Gravy seems to be a dominant force, but only at the highest levels of play. The meta at tier 3 and below seems really healthy and diverse. Should it not be left alone?
This means tier 3 events, right? Not like tier 3 decks.
Yeah, it means type of events, but I think we're seeing it be very dominant in callings, and then I think you're about to see it be very dominant in ProQuest. So I think the fact that we haven't had a ProQuest season or an RTN season with Gravy yet is the only reason why people feel that way.
Yeah, I think once people are forced to learn the deck for local events as well, because one issue right now is just like, I feel like there's a lot of people who aren't playing Gravy because they don't want to just prep Gravy for like the one calling. But for PQ season, like people normally want to play what they think is like the best deck, the best choice for them. And so people who are willing to play Gravy are actually going to play it now. Like Fino, for example, like didn't go to KC because he was like, I don't feel comfy on Gravy. Or like Cody didn't play Gravy at KC, like you were saying last week, because you didn't feel like you could play it to the best of your ability and like max the deck's potential. But those kinds of things we're going to see less and less. And obviously the Gravy decks are going to get better and better. And like we still haven't even had a full set since he's been released. So like we still haven't seen the best Gravy decks, right? Like,
yeah, agreed. Grog asks, would you consider buying a PTI to Worlds to be worth the cost? I assume the EV isn't bad, but I wasn't sure how often people actually do that.
The EV is different for every different person who enters the tournament.
Yeah.
I'd still say 100% though. Like if you're
With that
traveling
said-
to the event,
Yeah, you should just buy the PTI if you think you can do well at Worlds.
like win
Or
cash
if
is
you,
like
or if you just want
1.5K
to
or
play in
something,
Worlds,
right?
that's also a
Yeah, that's the caveat, right? Is like if you want to, or if you think you are good enough to cash, then yeah, you probably should.
And-
If you are not going to commit to the event and you're just going to like go have fun and it's not that big of a deal and the money's a problem, then maybe not.
Should have told yourself that before flying to the
I had a
land down
blast.
under.
I had a blast, man.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, though, no, a lot of people redeem PTIs for Worlds, like especially Worlds. It's like the much harder to qualify for than a Pro Tour. And if you think about like, extrapolating it out, redeeming a PTI is basically like paying for a PTI because you're not selling it for money and you're cashing it in. And so many people do that, right? They post a list of like all PTI redeemers. My name's always on it because I can't convert a nationals to save my life. So if I do it every year, I put my stamp of approval on it. It's definitely worth playing in like the big tournaments because you're playing to be the world champion. Like you only get that chance once a year. So I think it's super worth. If you're going to be like Dan was saying, if you're paying the money to travel, it's just you can do girl math and say it's part of your travel cost.
Also, if you happen to live close to where the Worlds is being held, you don't have to buy a PTI because like you just assume that's your plane ticket. Like,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
You don't
Just
have
pretend
to,
the Worlds was somewhere else, and then
Yeah.
your plane ticket is the PTI cost, and it's a
Yeah.
big happy family.
Yeah.
Ham, do you miss supplemental sets?
Well, we just got one, and it was the worst set released since the last supplemental set. So no.
And we're about to get one in the next set because it's like 30 supplemental cards. So
Yeah, I like the expansion slot a hell of a lot more than supplemental sets. So I think
Yep.
I miss Crucible of War, but I don't miss Dynasty. And the expansion slot is a replacement, and it's great. So
I miss Everfest though.
yeah, but
That one
they
has
would
paid
just
off
put.
so much.
But Everfest was like the perfect example of an expansion slot. Like the reason
Yeah.
Everfest was good, that all could have gone in the expansion slot.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Orc Knight asks, what were your biggest learning moments from the weekend? What were your favorite games or biggest bad beats of the tournament? I think we covered most of how the
many.
games went, but
Mhm.
learning moments, I think we have not talked about at all.
My learning moment from my top 4 game was to, despite how tired you are, make sure you always fully think out your plan as you're executing it. Like the reason you're playing the cards you are and pitching the cards you are, because I didn't do that on turn 0, and if I did, I would have been in a much better position. Just always think that through.
I learned sometimes you just fatigue Fang. But more than that, it's just like I liked Evans. So I don't think Evans' deck build is the best version of Gravy, but I think it was a great build for that tournament. Because it made the really important matches a lot easier while still having the ability to beat Gravy and win your bad matches. He did lose to like a Fang and an Acilio, but he made it a lot easier on himself to beat Slippy and Gravy than I think a lot of the other Gravy's builds did. And it obviously paid off super well in that tournament. I think that's like another tournament style that you can consider playing or as a way you can consider like making your deck work to just like make life easier on yourself. So that was like, I think my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. This is Jesse who asked this question. We played a great game. I think probably our game was my favorite game of the weekend. He was playing Riptide. Like literally came down to 1 minute on the clock. He has no cards in deck. Kind of a crazy situation. So yeah, that was probably my favorite game. Another thing that's like, I didn't get a chance to mention it at all, so I'll just mention it during this of like a learning moment was I had like fantastic judge interactions all weekend. So that was cool. Just like learning about the way judges I don't know if there's like been changes internally, but the couple judge calls that I had were just like handled with judge interactions that show that they actually like are comprehending the game state and making rulings that follow the intention of the rules. So yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, I I agree. All my judge calls were great.
Yeah.
I had the opposite interaction that you had, where they obviously didn't understand the game state and they were just flexing power to flex power.
Oh, really?
So
That's
yeah,
unlucky.
my last game of the day, I'm playing a fatigue match. My opponent and I have both played the game incredibly quickly. And he asked me, hey, can I organize the graveyard so that all of the reactions are together so we can save time? And I say, okay, sure. Let me organize your graveyard so the D reactions are all together so we save time when we keep looking to see what's happening, because it's a very long match. All that was fine. I'm just giving that as an example of how we are both my opponent and I were aware that we're playing a fatigue match and is going to go very, very long. And we're trying to save time for the end game because that's all that matters for the game, right? And obviously my opponent wants to go fast because he wants to actually complete the game within time, and he's playing fatigue. So we play the game incredibly quickly. We get down. There is over 15 minutes left on the clock. I am presenting probably my last big attack for the entire game. This is legitimately the last turn. This is my kill turn that I've been stacking for. My opponent takes a while to think about how he wants to block my bonds that's sitting there. Which is completely fine. He takes a while. He blocks. He sends it back to me. There is 15 minutes on the clock. How do I know that? It's because I looked at the clock and checked as soon as he passed it to me to see how much time was left on it. There was 15 minutes left on the clock, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and what I'm trying to decide is if I can use all 3 of my reactions on this bonds, or if he might have a snag. Because if he has a snag, I need to save one of the reactions because I can still win because I have a second reaction left in my deck and I have a blue double trouble. And if I do it on the double trouble, then I can still win the game. But I have to hold one of the reactions to do that, or I can win the game right now. Like that's what I'm deciding. So it's taking a little bit. I probably think for a couple of minutes at most. Again, we have infinite time on the clock. The game is basically over. I have 6 cards left in my deck, essentially. A judge out of nowhere, who no one has called, just leans over the table and says, you need to make a decision. No one asked for this. I don't know why this judge is here. We have infinite time. No one's complaining. My opponent looks at him like, what the hell are you doing here? I look at it, I'm like, this is the last turn of the game. I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do here. We have plenty of time. And the judge reiterates, I'm asking you to make a decision. Which, this is ridiculous. Like, this is uncalled for. We're managing our own game. There's no reason to judge the butt in to lean, over the entire table. I just don't understand what's happening.
Speaking of leaning over the entire table, that's not an exaggeration. I just want to point.
It's not an exaggeration. It's like literally hovering over the entire table.
We were kind of laughing about it at the tournament, but I kind of thought it was. I couldn't actually find the experience coordinator at the time, but I wanted to talk to them about it because.
But I'll just finish. So I put a react on the stack and then continue to think because he asked me to make a decision, and then I move my tunic over and then continue to think because I was asked to make a decision, and then I eventually figure out that I can probably still win even if I use both reactions because I haven't seen a snag yet, and I don't think he sat one because I tracked back when his card was set. And his block doesn't make sense for there to be a snag. He would have needed the block with his arm piece for a snag to make sense. So I end up doing that and end up winning the game. And then I look at the clock and there's 11 minutes on the clock. What is the point? If someone could explain this to me, if a judge in the comments of this video could explain to me why this happens and why this is happening at all, when there's over 11 minutes left on the clock, and neither of my opponent nor I have asked for a judge to be there, and there's literally no problems happening, why am I being interfered with in my game?
Yeah, I think it's a fine line. I'm not trying to defend it, but you do have to enforce slow play. So it's like I was told.
Well, the problem is it's just wildly inconsistent, right?
Oh, agreed. Yeah, in that case, it shouldn't happen. I agree. Yeah. But I had a game where it was like a judge came over and was like, you have 30 seconds to start the game. And I turned around and it had been 5.5 minutes. I was like, yep, you're right. I do.
Well, that would make
that's
sense.
A little bit on your opponent.
But that's also part of the rules. Like you have to start a game
like
within that time
conversation.
Frame. Sure. It has nothing to do with my situation.
It definitely feels like it definitely feels like if the slow play calls are going to be up to the judge's interpretation for a lot of those situations, which is kind of how the rules are written right now, and it feels like the judges should know what the hell they're talking about if they are going to make a decision based on that. Which a lot of the judges do, and I want to echo that. I will say it definitely there are a lot of judges in the judge program, and I think most judges in the judge program are good judges, honest, have integrity, and try their best to know the game and give fair rulings to all.
I've opened up a can of worms. I just wanted to say
to be fair, everyone else that I interacted with, judge-wise, was amazing the entire weekend. Like everyone else was great.
All of the lower level.
Okay. Well, I regret bringing this up at all.
It was going to get brought up evenally.
Big tangent.
It was It was on there. My anger of the tournament there.
Fair.
Going back to the
Oh.
question, I had like infinitely fun and enjoyable games. Like almost every game I
God,
played
that
was
was
so
this
sick.
question.
Yeah, that was the actual question.
That's
I
why.
had, like,
that's why we
I have too
save
many
the good
to
rants to
recall.
the end,
Yeah.
just for the people who stay the whole time.
Yeah, I do want to go deeper into the game I played against Mara round 2. It was pretty sick. We like sat down, we're joking because we're pretty friendly. And I point out that the 2 decks we're playing have the highest win rates on Talishar or February this month, which is Fang and Marionette. So we agreed that this game is single-handedly going to determine the best deck in format. I
So
purposefully
this
side
is-
out.
By the way, for everyone watching, this is how Dan decides that Mario is the best deck. Is he plays against Fang
Yeah.
and beats him up.
It's data, man. It's data. But I like intentionally sat out all the D-reacts, thinking like it's probably wrong, but I want to prove it out early if it is. And I'm going second, so I'm just gonna race and disrupt. We end up at like 28 health each, and she gets 3 fealty. So I'm like, that was not the right plan. I did something wrong. I should get crushed, but I played it this like 2%er out, where if I ponder into exactly Tarantula Toxin, I'm like gaming. And I do that thinking I'm just swing my dagger and hope that does it. But then I draw into my 3rd Kiss of Death. And I'm like, all right, I can block with these 3 cards. Hopefully I don't die. I block 3 cards. I go to exactly 1. I play the Kiss of Death. If she has 2-3 blocks in hand, I lose the game. Because she can just block 9 and say, I don't care. You lose. She has only 2 blocks. So I steal the game. Absolute scam. But it was a lot of fun.
For you.
And Marionette's the best deck in the format as a result. No, it was like really good back and forth leading up to that point, but it was like, I clearly lost this game. Let me just ponder the best card in my deck real quick.
I don't know why this is the rant question, but I have one more rant that I've been saving for the end. I'm going to put it in here. We need to find a solution about this battle hardened cap that's happening at these events, because it's becoming an
I wanted to
issue
rant on
where
this too.
it's becoming an issue where if you're going to a calling or any event, basically, I understand they have to cap the battle hardened because it was running so long. So many people were signing up for it that they were running out of time to actually play the game in the venue. But it means that now when you go to a calling, you have to sign up for the calling and the battle hardened at the same time because it always sells out. So there's a bunch of people who like were close to making day 2 of the calling. They find out they didn't make the day 2. They go, okay, let me just go over and sign up. And they go from immediately from playing their game to go sign up for the battle hard. Sorry, it's full. What do you mean it's full? Like how could I have signed up for it before, this moment I'm playing in the calling? So now you have to sign up for both and then refund the battle harden if you don't make it, if you want to actually guarantee that you have something to do on Sunday. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like there has to be a better solution to this.
See, we have precedent for this with ProQuest, You sign up for them in advance, and then if you win one, you can't show up in the other ones, and then you refund. LSS is being backed by big refund companies, They're skimming off that.
True.
Okay, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I just want to say, like, on top of that, like, please make these events better. I know we complain about it a lot, but $60 for like only top 8 prizing, that's not even that good.
Is that what you got?
And then our promos are unplayable gravy draft chaff. Like, what are we doing?
Agreed. I mean, the pricing isn't great either. Most people just want to play something, so obviously they're taking advantage of that by charging $60 for the event. And they don't even give away like tickets or anything anymore. So
Yeah, well,
I mean,
even
it's
local,
like actively a scam. So like
even
that's
local,
fine. But
even local battle hardens, just like that, where it's like, oh, there's just like a battle harden this weekend. Like these events are rough. Like there's one in Chicago. It's like a 4-hour drive for me, and I don't think I'm going. Like me, like that's pretty. Obviously, you could just say that's my, lack of desire to play, but it's like there's no reason to go. I would just be going like for having fun, and I've had fun at plenty of events recently. And
to
it's
be
like
fair,
Maybe
that
you can walk there. Like, it's
there's
just not
just,
worth
like-
the cost of entry.
there's like no pricing for anything but the top 2, and even the top 2 pricing is like not that crazy, right? Gold foils aren't really worth money anymore. PTIs are increasing in value a little bit, but that's basically the extent of the pricing, right? Like top 8 is.
I do think the playmats are
an
pretty
actual
cool.
joke. Yeah, but but they're
They
not.
don't they don't make it good. It's just
Yeah,
I think
they
that
don't-
implementation's pretty solid.
They just don't. They
People
don't
get
get
excited to
people
see.
Yeah, they don't get people coming out to play the events, right?
No,
If it
it's
feels like we
but the
could-
participation promos, like, how are we possibly get to draft chaff? Like, there's been good ones in the past.
they've always been kind of sus. They've always been
Agreed.
suspiciously levels of playable, right?
I think they're solving the problem in a different solution, which is like make callings every month or something next year is kind of like sounds what they're doing, supposedly. So we'll see about that. But I do think they need to do something about like
At least
being
it's
able
making
to
like
play-
$20 to play this thing.
Yeah, but being able to play the Battle Hardened on Sunday without having to sign up like at the same time as the calling and then refund it if you make day 2 is just like this is like a silly problem to have. At least set up like
Agreed.
2 Battle Hardened set at the same time or something. Like we just hear about people all the time that can't play. I don't know. Seems ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Please keep
you have-
asking
hey,
questions.
Noah,
from
do you
week
have a
to week.
rant?
These questions just spawn into 30-minute rants. It's good.
Gultic asks, I've noticed that recent sets haven't really helped all heroes of the class that were in the set. For example, High Seas didn't support Azalea or Riptide, and Mastery Pack Guardian didn't support Jarl. If this is the new trend, what do you think? How are older, worse heroes catching up through the expansion slots?
I think it's unfair to say that High Seas didn't support Azalea, but I do think, I mean, there were definitely some builds of Azalea that existed exclusively post High Seas, but obviously like the classic version still existed.
There were 3 good cards that got added to the Azalea deck.
Yeah.
So.
There were good new stuff. There was also like more potentially. It's just that the rangers that exist currently don't like use like Sea Lace Sarong. Right, like that's a great example of like if Lexi was still legal, like I feel like that would have been a big upgrade for like Lexi, but like it's a very powerful card that just happened to not support the heroes.
Yeah, I think when you talk about untalented heroes as well, typically the untalented heroes are like very siloed in, which is like ironic, but they're very siloed in their section of the card pool that's relevant to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just print like generic card for the class, it's pretty unlikely it'll just naturally slot into how they want to play, unless the card just like codex level busted.
If you think like logically, the reason that you would ever play in like an untalented hero over a talented hero is because you either have a better text box or better specializations, and the better text box, like Noah was saying, normally includes like a very specific group of cards, right? Like Fang is like Draconic Daggers, right? Or let's go non-talented heroes, right? Riptide needs like traps. Like really is like what he's strong at, right? And
although you want like the crush cards,
exactly,
and, like, the seismic surge makers,
and like specialization cards obviously are only going to be in the expansion slot or in sets where the hero's actually in. So it's actually quite hard to give support for classes that's like just general class support without making it like something like Outsiders, where it's like every ranger now just like has all of these broken cards that you're going to play. Obviously at the time it was, only like 3 rangers, but without making the cards all just like broken across the board in like every version of every hero in that class, it's kind of hard to make support for older non-talented heroes. And obviously talented heroes are even more narrow.
Yeah. I think the way, like second part of the question, how older and worse heroes catch up. I mean, they do stuff like they just did for Olympia, where they give him like literally a whole. Everyone gets a mech suit now. He starts in his golden suit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's probably the best way is just like give them crazy busted expansion slot cards that are either literally specializations or only make sense for their style of play.
Mm-hmm.
Big Hungry asks, have we gotten to the point where hero-specific bans is the common response?
Yes. You can do it, man. I believe in you.
Let me try again. Have we gotten to the point where hero-specific ban is the common response? Is people that it will be too hard to keep track, but I'd argue if you can't keep tabs on a hero specific, you will have a hard time with the game as a whole. Word for word. Perfect.
You got it, bro. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Wait, what?
Brothers, commas,
I didn't see the preview of
periods,
this.
question marks. It's all gone. He ripped those keys off the keyboard. They don't exist. Grammar?
I
Never
think I would
heard of it.
agree.
I'll reword it.
I can't do it.
I have no
Let
idea
me-
what the
let me
question was.
Let me reword it. I understand what's being asked here. Have we gotten to the point where we need hero-specific bans, even though the argument people have been using is that people won't be able to remember hero specific bans.
No, don't do hero specific bans.
I don't
feel
think
like
we need
we've kind of come this far. That's Cody always memes on how they change rules with every set. It's just like, a rule's there, we'll just change it. I don't think they should change this rule.
I
I'm
feel
fine
like
with it.
I think they should use it like they use the restriction in CC, like very sparingly, only when it is like the only way that they feel they can balance the game, or at the very least, it is the clear best way to balance the game
Mhm.
for whatever it is needed.
But I
think
who cares?
the LL.
If a hero catches strays, whatever, let them catch strays. It's
I-
like fun.
I don't disagree. I think that's why what I'm saying is like when it's clearly like the only way to keep it balanced, right? Like if it's just fine that some of the heroes catch strays, like yeah, whatever. Like you look at like the bullseye ban, like a lot of people wanted it to be a Lexi specific ban, but it's fine that Azalea caught a stray. But if for some reason like the format was only balanced because that card is also legal in another hero, then maybe they could do it. But I think
I find it hard to believe that would ever be the case where like the meta is balanced because one hero has a card legal in them. That just like doesn't.
I think it would be a very specific case, and it would probably look something like an equipment, right?
I think it'd be the opposite. Like, I just want them to at least be open to using it if necessary, but it'd be basically like banning like a generic. So like, let's just say like Tunic was too strong in a deck, and they just banned just banned Tunic from that one hero, but everyone else now can still play Tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Like something like that is kind of how I would see this would be done.
But I don't see how
like,
that fits with what Lucas's narrative is of like format how.
It doesn't. I'm just saying, I don't think it would work that way. I think the only way we would ever see a hero specific ban is if like someone came out that dealt with tokens or something, and it like could mess with Tunic where it could just like make Tunic every turn or something. And then you're like, okay, well, let's ban Tunic from them because they have this mechanic that works with it, and let everyone else play Tunic. Like I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, there's also
awesome
just the possibility that they come out with new heroes that interact with old cards in ways that aren't desirable, but they still want those cards to be like, for example, let's say like for whatever reason, when they printed KO, like all of the other brutes in the game were like designed around and supposed to play Berserk. And for whatever reason, they like wanted to keep that in the game. They could like perhaps hit something from KO as just like this is part of the class identity. Like we want this to be a thing, but because KO has a unique hero ability that interacts with this card in a way that's not desirable, we don't want it to be like in the game. Obviously that's a horrible example, so don't pick apart that specific example, but that kind of thing where you want a card to be a part of a class's identity, but you just like make something that's like a little bit too not cool with that, right? Especially with heroes with static ability.
I think the best example was like Somersault, where like that could have been a card where they just said you can only play one of it in Starvo. I think that's actually like the perfect example, right? Because that card's like not designed with the fact that Starvo can play 9 of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other classes are typically just playing the 3, or they're like dramatically warping their deck to play anymore. Mm-hmm. So that would have been like a really good implementation if we were ever to implement it. And since they didn't do that, I just think it's unlikely that they'll do anything moving forward hero specific, because that seems like the perfect one.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Actually, almost every single Starvo hit is like the perfect one for just Starvo. Like you could give Oldhim 3 Oaken Old, for example. Like you could give OG Bravo 3 Crippling Crush.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if they're not doing it in LL where it's like pretty free to do so, it wouldn't break the game open if OG Bravo got to play 3 Crippling. At least I don't think so. Kale can prove us wrong. Then yeah, I think they're just not going to do that.
At least not yet.
At least there's no need to. Maybe 5 years down the line, my opinion changes for sure.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they already future-proofed Blast to Oblivion. I was so mad. I was cooking up. I was like, all right.
We were in that jacuzzi.
We were literally sitting
we
in
were
the
cooking
jacuzzi, dude.
Last Starvo.
Yeah. You play the Pleiades Aura. It's a generic Guardian Aura. You play Blast. You bounce it. You draw the cards. You play it again. You draw the cards. You have Lightning Greaves. You go Hambone, and then none of it works. Yeah. Reading the card, they future-proofed Blast. It was so sad.
Devastating.
Got him. Well, with that, let's get out of here. Hope everyone enjoyed the rants at the end of the show. Let me know what's going on and tell me why judges are interfering with games. So goodbye.
Oh no.